Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name's Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about how you should never give a quote unless you've already given a ballpark figure. Alright, so today's been a very quiet day, so this is going to be a very quick video. I spent a lot of time today just rebuilding this old Windows PC over here. I mean, I was a PC user for most of my life, but, 5 years ago I got a Mac, and it wasn't like I was won over by Mac. The only reason I use a Mac is because for iPhone development. So most of my work's done on a Mac, but occasionally I have to do certain things on Windows. And the reason I'm building up the Windows PC in the office is because I'm doing this work on a Bluetooth thing. So one of my clients has a device and it uses a Bluetooth chip, and I don't have the device, but I have the Bluetooth chip. So I'm installing the software development kit so I could mock up all the server processing, what the device is going to do, the requests and responses, all that kind of stuff. But this Bluetooth chip, it doesn't run on Mac, it just has Windows drivers. So that's been a lot of day, all those updates and everything on an old Windows 7 build. But anyway, so the other thing I've been doing a lot of today is just quoting, right? I've been doing, there's a lot of client quotes, a lot of clients that have been waiting for quotes from me, and I've been going through and I've been putting it off for like forever, because quoting on projects is one of the things, it's so much harder than you think it would be. I mean, at least it's so much harder than I thought it would be. I kind of thought, somebody says, hey, how much would this cost? You just go, it'd be about this much, right? Or, it'll be this much, okay. Right? But it's not. Sometimes it can be mentally taxing, because you have to think about, especially like if it's an existing project, you have to look at the existing code, kind of say what we could do with stuff like that. Sometimes they have infrastructure requirements that you have to look at, or there might be some logic in there that might be a little bit convoluted. And in my case, I have to think, is it going to be something I'm going to be working on directly? How much of my time is going to be needed? How much of this can I give to my remote developers? And then also thinking about how many client meetings are we going to have in this? And there's a lot of things that you don't know going into it, so you have to guess. And you don't want to get the quote wrong, and so there's a lot of stress involved, because if you quote too high, you don't get the job. If you quote too low, then it is miserable going forward. It's nothing worse than losing money on a project because you quoted too low, right? So I know I talked about this before. Because I put so much work into the quotes and into the estimate, so like a quote could take an hour or two just to go through and map out all the things. Which technology should we use? Put like a little architecture diagram. When I do a quote, I always do some wireframes in it and flow charts and everything. Whatever I think, just to solidify this is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. But I can't do that for everybody, so I have to get really good at the ballpark quotes. And I know I mentioned this once before. Being able to give a ballpark quote like at the drop of a hat is like a really good skill to have, and it's really hard. So like, let's say like a common scenario is somebody will phone up and say, I have an app, it's like Instagram, but it does this, and I should be able to ask a few questions and say, okay, so based on what you're telling me, based on past experience, I think something like that would cost between 8,000 and 10,000 pounds or whatever. It depends on the project, how complicated it is, everything like that. Now, to me, that sounds like a lot of money. But yesterday, no, it was 2 days ago. I said to somebody, I said, yeah, I would imagine this would probably be between 6,000 and 10,000, but we really need to go through, and the next stage would be to sit down together and really map out the requirements, so we make sure that we have everything in there, and I can give you a more accurate quote. So probably between 6,000 to 10,000, which to me sounds like a lot of money. But he said, oh, that's fantastic, because the last developer was going to charge me 30,000, right? Which I thought, man, please don't tell me that. There's nothing I hate than when somebody tells me that everybody else was going to charge them more, right? Because you don't want to be, it may sound like it's better for me because we keep the costs low, but nobody wants to be the budget guy, right? And it's one of those things. And sometimes you just way over. And sometimes they'll say, oh, I talked to somebody else and they said it would be like half as much as you said, which is like, well, that's fine. I'm not gonna, if you're gonna quote something, you have to quote. It's better when you're giving a ballpark. It's better to go high than to go low, because that's the first filter. You can't quote for everybody, and being able to give a ballpark and a little bit on the high side just to so people know what they're going into, because people don't know when they're calling you up. They don't know if they don't know how much an app costs. It's like getting a custom suit. If you've ever been to like Thailand and every place is trying to sell you a custom suit, you're walking down the street, they say, hey, come in here, we want a custom suit, come on in. And if you don't have any idea, you don't want to take you in there and then measure you and spend an hour doing all that, and then they give you a price tag, which you think, wow, that's going to be like, $500. I thought it would be like $50, right? So it's better to be able to, before any investment and time goes on, to give a good ballpark quote. So anyway, I know this has been really, really quick today, but I hope you guys are having a really great day. And that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.